Hello, and welcome to Yoga by the Moon. I am here to guide you through your practice today. My name is Michelle. Hopefully the universe led you today to do a yoga practice that will harness all of the energies of Virgo season. You don't have to be a Virgo to take its benefits. I'll tell you a little bit about the sign. We'll do some breath work. And then we'll slow down with a bit of a reflection in Shavasana before we close out our practice. So Virgo is the first earth sign of the fall, is the earth sign of the fall harvest season. It is symbolized by what is known as the Virgin. It's usually a woman depicted holding like chaffs of wheat, sometimes husks of corn, and she's usually seen as a virgin, as this pure woman, and the whatever crop she is holding is symbolic of the harvest that is coming to collect. And in Virgo season, we are focused on decluttering our lives, removing the impurities. So we remove physical impurities, we remove emotional impurities, we remove mental impurities, anything that is cluttering our lives and our minds and our hearts, so that we can more aptly focus. Because Virgo is also ruled by planet Mercury, who is the great communicator, also very much about structure and organization. Virgo is the ruler of the throat chakra, Vishuddha, and so that also focuses on our communication, and if we can reflect on what voice we're bringing to our lives and to the lives of those around us, if we are bringing our true authentic selves or not, is a good opportunity to reflect on that and focus on how to be more authentically yourself and speak more authentically for yourself. Virgo is the ruler of the nervous system and the digestive system. So we focus on relaxation and bringing ourselves down. If you look at the zodiac wheel in Virgo season, we begin to move from the top part of the wheel into the bottom part of the wheel. And we move from the outward material reflections of things, and we start to focus inward and become more spiritually attuned in Virgo season. So we wind down, we relax ourselves. It's very apt because in fall, a lot of animals start to prepare to hibernate, right? So everybody starts to down-regulate. They start to slow down, clear things out so that you can do that to the best of your ability and just relax. And with the digestive system, once again, you start to wring out physical impurities and remove them from the body, and like excrete. I know that's a trouble word for some people, but it's what we do. We focus on removing those things from our bodies so we are clear and healthy inside, to reflect that outwardly to everybody. So in this practice, we're going to focus a lot on bringing focus and awareness, that concentration that Virgo has, into our bodies and ourselves. Not necessarily precision with alignment exactly, but precision with where we should be feeling the posture in our body. So when we're holding staff pose and you should be feeling an activation in your core, if you're not feeling it, adjust your body into a way where you are. And I can't tell you, I can lead you into cues that might take you there, but you have to feel into yourself. So have awareness internally as to where you're feeling these postures and adjust your body so that you feel it in a safe way. We can bring down regulation. We're going to very much stimulate the vagus nerve in our body, which is the nerve, it runs from our medulla all the way through to our digestive system, and it down regulates our nervous system, our brains, and our digestive system is connected, that whole gut brain mind that people talk about, that, you know, when you have a gut feeling, those kind of things. So your gut is connected to your nervous system. And so we're going to downregulate both by stimulating that vagus nerve. We're going to wring our bodies out, and then we're going to find relaxing postures, find moments of stillness, find moments of breath. Okay, I've been talking about Virgo an awful lot. So before we begin the movement part of our practice, let's take a moment for pranayama, for some breath. The breath work that we will do for Virgo to kind of activate that down-regulating goodies that we're gonna try to get the benefits of. We're gonna use sips of breath, is what it's called, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We're gonna take some sips of breath through our nose, in and out the nose. You're gonna feel your belly swell up as you take those sips that in, and then slowly exhale out the nose as you feel everything and pull that belly in so you can feel that core activation. So not only is this a relaxing breath, especially because we are exhaling very slowly, but it is also a good way to start stimulating that digestive system in a calm way. So we'll do 3 of those breaths together, and then we'll begin our movement. So take your first inhale through your nose, sip through your nose. Exhale out the nose again slowly as you pull that belly in. 2 more just like that. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more inhale. Nice, long, juicy exhales. You pull that belly in. Take 1 more moment. Notice how you feel. And I'm going to move back to my mat so you can see my whole postures. So we will begin in staff pose today. In staff pose, you reach your legs out right in front of you and you sit up tall. Maybe you take your hands to either side of you to kind of keep your shoulders back and down, lifting that chest to the sky, feeling that core activation, feeling the activation in the top part of your thighs as you just sit up nice and tall. It's a very stimulating posture for your digestive system, while also kind of just relaxing because it feels like you're just sitting, but you're still doing a lot of work while you're sitting. Kind of like mountain pose, which we'll get to later when you're standing, but you're activating a lot while you're just sitting tall, like a staff, right? Like a wizard staff. 1 more breath here, like this. And then on your next inhale, raise your arms all the way up to the sky. Inhale, reach, 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 reach. And exhale with a flat, tall spine. Slowly reach forward. Maybe you reach your toes. Maybe you reach your shins. Maybe it's your knees or your thighs. But we're going to have a nice long forward fold where you're going to pull your chest through. Keep your spine long. The goal isn't to round and hunch right now. The goal is to keep long and tall as we stretch the back body, stretch the back of those thighs, and keep an activation in our abdominal wall. Just breathe. I know it can be really tough to do these forward folds, but it is very good for your digestive system. It is very down-regulating, very good for you. 1 more breath in. On your next breath out, we're going to bend through our right knee, bringing our right knee to our chest. Now you can keep it up like this, or you can take your right foot and cross it over your left leg. Either way, wherever you are, raise that left arm up to the sky and reach it to the outer part of your right hip. Take that right arm, swing it behind you into a twist. twists are so good for bringing out the digestive system, and it stimulates that vagus nerve once again, which is very, very anxiety reducing, stress reducing. Virgo season is very good for getting rid of all of our stress. Like I said, we're going to get rid of the impurities, and stress is one of those great impurities in our life. Just hold this twist for one more breath. Exhale, slowly unwind. If you have that leg crossed, uncross it and straighten that leg out. Sit up tall just for a moment. Maybe you shake out those thighs. And breathe in. And as you exhale this time, bring that left knee up to your chest, planting that foot. Maybe you cross the left foot over the right thigh. Wherever you are, inhale, raise that right arm to the sky, and as you exhale, plant the right hand on the outside of your left hip. Swing that left arm around behind you as we twist on the other side. Bringing that body out. Breathing. Finding moments of focus, of authenticity, and remembering that idea of precision in how we are feeling these postures in our bodies. Are you feeling that ringing in your abdomen? One more breath in. One more breath out as you slowly unwind. Bring that leg down once again. Maybe you shake out those thighs. And then as you, on your next breath in, you're going to take your feet up, bend your knees towards you, kind of like a crab. And then we're going to sit up, kind of like a toddler, with mouth turned towards you so you can kind of see, where you're kind of in this little yogi squat. You've got your heels pointed in, your toes pointed out while your knees are bent. If this isn't comfortable for your body, you can take a pillow or a rolled up blanket or towel underneath your bottom, underneath your sit bones, or if you have a block, this is a good time to use a block there. That way it's a little bit more cushiony and yet a little less intense on your lower spine. But if it is accessible to you, maybe take your hands at prayer and you use those elbows to push those knees open. Virgo is an earth sign, and in earth signs, that is a call to grounding, to bringing ourselves connected to that earth. And what better way to do that than a posture that is so natural for elimination? Once again, we're bringing the theme of digestive system removal of impurity into our awareness here. Birthing happens in this posture a lot. A lot of people eat this way. You even bend down and clean this way, another way of removing impurities in your life. So this is a very good way to bring focus into your body in a relaxing way that grounds you into the earth. And if on your next inhale, bring your hands down just a little bit so you can step your feet out as wide as your hips. And then on your next inhale, we're going to slowly rise, but not all the way. You're going to step out into a goddess squat. So you're going to kind of create this horseshoe shape upside down. You can keep your hands at prayer. You can move your hands up like goalposts, or even just reach them straight up to the sky. But this is another version of that grounding posture, just standing, bringing a little heat and activation into our thighs. And that heat will also stimulate your abdominal wall and work on that digestion just a little bit more. Helps you bring focus, the clarity of Virgo season into our postures. One more breath in, one more breath out. Breath in as we slowly rise all the way up. Reach those hands up, and as you do, heel toe your feet in underneath your hip points. Reach up, slight back bend as you look up to the ceiling. And as you breathe out, bring those hands down to heart center. Take a moment. We're going to be entering eclipse season soon, which is a powerful season for transformation. It will happen in this sign in Virgo. So maybe take a moment here while we stand in mountain pose and set an intention for what you would like to bring to your life once we remove all these impurities. What's something new you want to bring into your life? What are you trying to make room for? Is it a new job? Is it just simplification? Is it peace? Are you missing joy? Are you finding joy in this practice? Just take a moment of pause and reflect. And turn towards the top of my mat so you can see me a little bit better. Take one more breath in. And on your next breath out, we are going to step back with our left leg. You may want to keep your knee raised up into a high lunge, or maybe you drop it down onto the mat in a low lunge. Wherever you are, reach those arms up to the sky. Open your chest, maybe sink into that front hip, opening up that left hip flexor. Opening up our abdominal wall. Now to work on that digestive ringing, once again, we're going to bring our left hand down on the inside of our right foot as we open our right arm up to the sky into a low lunge twist, wringing out the body once again. One breath in. Breath out as you bring that right hand down to the other side of your right foot. And this time we're going to bring those hips back so that they are in line above our left knee. And we are going to straighten as best we can with a softness in the right knee. As you can see, my knee is slightly bent into a half splits hamstring stretch. One more breath in. One more breath out as you bring that right knee to meet the left. And this time we're simply just going to step that left foot, up to the front of our mat and rise on up into a low lunge. Don't worry if you get wobbly, I do too, as you just saw. Sink into that left knee, opening up that right hip flexor, that front of our right thigh, and opening up our abdominal wall. Breathing. Releasing anything that no longer serves us with our exhales. Breathing in peace and love and simplicity. Breathing out all the stress and complication. On your next breath in, bring that right hand down to the inside of your left foot, opening up your left arm to the sky in a low lunge twist once again. Wringing out our digestive system. One more breath in. As you breathe out, bring that right arm, or that left arm to the outside of our left foot once again. Bring those hips back up over your right knee. Straighten a little bit through your left leg in a half splits, hamstring stretch. But be sure to keep a softness in your knee. You should feel a nice release here in that hamstring. breath in. As you breathe out, bring that left knee back to meet the right. This time we're going to plant our hands underneath our shoulders, keep our knees underneath our hips, flatten through that spine in a tabletop. And as you breathe in, bring that belly to the floor, look up to the ceiling in cow. As you breathe out, arch through the spine, look down in cat. This is another very good posture for bringing out that digestive system. Also bringing in some relaxation. Maybe you find a little side-to-side movement. Maybe you kind of undulate through your spine. Maybe you make circles of your hips. Find some movement that feels good here. Bringing some relaxation, some authenticity of yourself into this movement, into this posture. Finding stillness, and we'll fire up that core once again, which yet again will activate through that digestive system. So we're going to take our left foot, straighten it, step back, and keep it on the mat for now. We can drive that heel back towards the bottom of our mat as we stretch through the calf just for a brief moment. Align your hips over your knees again, shoulders over your wrists, and on your next inhale, lift through that left leg, keeping it in line with your spine. And maybe you stay there. Maybe you bring that right arm up into a spinal balance. If that feels good for you, take a breath in. And on your next exhale, bring your right elbow to meet your left knee. Inhale, reach out. 2 more. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. 1 more time. Reach, 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 reach. And exhale, bring everything down. Take a moment here in cat-cow. Maybe you want to actually just undulate through that spine. Maybe you want to take a moment of stillness in tabletop. Just take a breath. On your next breath in, straighten through that right leg, keeping the toes on the mat. Driving that right heel down to the bottom of the mat, stretching through your calf. Just for a minute. On your next breath in, once again, align those hips over your knees. Oh, well, your left knee and your shoulders over your wrists. If that feels safe, lift that right heel up so that your leg is in line with your spine. If that feels good, maybe you bring your left arm in line with your spine. You're always welcome to take any of the progression steps forward and keeping that knee down if you need to. Just working on your cat-cows even if that's what you like. But if this feels good, on your next breath in, reach your arms out. Breath out, bring that left elbow to meet your right knee. 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach 1 last time. And exhale, bring it all down. This time we're going to bring our hands maybe 1 more hand length in front of us. And on our next exhale, we're going to lift our hips up to the sky. Maybe pedal out those heels in our first downward dog of the practice. Finding some things that feel good. This is a gentle inversion. Inversion means we are upside down. Our heart is above our head. And anytime your heart is lifted above your head. It is a relaxing, anxiety-reducing posture. So while, yes, we are bringing a little bit of fire, we are also down-regulating ourselves. On your next inhale, lift that right foot to the sky. Exhale, bring it between your hands. We're going to spin that left heel down so that it is at an angle. Left toes pointed towards the top left corner of your mat. Right heel pointed to the bottom left heel pointed to the bottom right corner of the mat. And then on your next inhale, rise on up, facing your hips towards the left wall. Reaching your right arm forward, left arm back, keeping a bend in your knee, your right knee and your left knee straight in a warrior two. Warrior two is such a good posture for focus and precision. That organization of Virgo, that organization that Mercury brings to our lives, we can bring focus now just by looking ahead, what's to come, leaving behind anything that doesn't serve us. One more breath in like this. Exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to straighten through that right leg. Keep a little soft bend. And as you do so, keep these arms straight and just kind of tip forward into kind of like when you're dancing and you're going to kind of angle into that left hip and sort of in the I'm a little teapot, tip me over, tip into your right side. And when you can no longer do this without bending your spine, just kind of circle down, right hand to the mat, left arm to the sky. If you cannot touch the mat, if that is difficult for you, that is fine. You can have a block under your hand. You can use your shin. What is important is that you keep a nice, long, tall spine. You don't want to be dumping into your shoulders like that. You want to be open and accepting of all the things the universe has to give you. And this is a nice little twist once again to stimulate that digestive system. One more breath in. As you breathe out, bend generously into that right knee. Bring your hands to the mat, and you can either step the right foot back right into a downward dog, or you can step your right foot back to meet your left in a plank. Come down onto your elbows and all the way to the belly, or hover and then come into an upward facing dog or a cobra. And then we will all meet in a downward facing dog. You can pedal those heels once again. Maybe you find some stillness. Now in downward facing dog, your heels do not need to come all the way to the mat. You may have very tight hamstrings and you may need to have a generous bend in your knees. And that is all okay. It is all good yoga. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. As you breathe in this time, lift that left leg to the sky. Exhale, bring it between your two hands. Spinning that right heel down. Right heel going towards the bottom left corner of your mat. Right toes going towards the top right. And as you rise on up, your hips will be facing the right side of your mat. Left arm forward, right arm back. Warrior two. Look over the middle finger of that left hand. Find your focus. Clearing the way of our inner life, creating simplicity. Sometimes these simple postures even are great for just bringing centeredness to ourselves. And when we can bring that focus, when we can have that simplicity in our lives, it brings that grounding to the earth once again, that connection of ourselves to this earth, which opens up connection to each other. One more breath in. One more breath out. On this next breath in, slightly straighten through that left leg. You can keep a soft bend in the knee. Keep your arms out. And this time we're going to kind of jet into that right hip a little bit as we reach forward, tip, 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 tip. And when you feel like you can't keep your spine straight any longer, just bring that left hand down, right hand to the sky. Once again, you may be up pretty high to keep that spine straight, or maybe you can reach all the way down while you keep that heart open. Or maybe you have a block in between, your hand resting on your shin. Wherever is good for you today, wherever you're feeling it in your body today, it is all good. Reach that right arm up and exhale, bring it down to frame your foot. This time we're going to step that right foot up to meet our left in a forward fold. Have a generous bend in your knees. Bring your hands to opposite elbows. Maybe you gently sway from side to side. Another inversion to bring some relaxation in our lives. Find some stillness wherever you are. Bring your hands to your shins. Lift up with a flat back halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise on up. All the way. Reaching those hands up. And bringing those hands down. Once again, we're going to find ourselves in mountain pose. I'm turning towards you so you can see me a little bit better. We are going to take a balanced posture. Balance is good for bringing that hyper focus, that stillness into our lives. And this particular balanced posture is also very earthy, a very grounding posture as well. What better posture to welcome fall than tree pose? Now, tree has lots of different variations. What we're going to first do is just kind of shift your weight into that right leg, finding all four corners of your foot, finding strength in that right leg. And maybe you just turn your left heel so that it sits on your right ankle. And that's fine. Maybe you use a block to step your heel on and lift it a little bit. Maybe you bring your foot to the shin of your right leg, or maybe you bring that foot all the way up to the thigh. You just want to make sure that you don't press your foot into your knee. That can jut your knee out sideways and cause some pretty bad things to happen. And you want to make sure that you're opening out through that left hip, so you kind of create this figure four situation. Find a soft gaze somewhere called a drishti. Allows a focus. Once again, that word focus. You might be a little wobbly, that's okay. You can keep your hands, whatever feels good. Maybe keep them down. Maybe you have them at heart center. Maybe you reach up, grow your tree, long outstretched branches. Wherever you are, we'll take 2 more breaths. And as we exhale, we will slowly release through that posture. You can shake out your body, your little legs, whatever you need to do to kind of shake that off and get a little intense in your muscles with that. When you're ready, shift your weight into that left foot. Find your balance, your strength in your left foot. And your two sides of your body are not going to be the same. They're even from morning to night. They're not on the same day. They won't even be the same. Like everything changes all the time. That is the one constant in life is change, right? So don't expect that just because you could maybe bring your leg all the way up to the thigh on one side that you can on this side. Feel in your body today where is good for your tree. Maybe you're keeping those toes right on the ground and your heel onto your left ankle. Maybe you just have it very low down on your shin. Maybe you're resting on a block. Maybe you're bringing, see? I lose my balance too. Maybe you're bringing that right heel to your inner left thigh. Wherever you are, find that drishti, that focus, that self-gaze. Lift up through your chest as you ground down through your foot. And if you fall out, that's okay. Your yoga mat will catch you. It is called a practice, not a perfect. I say that all the time to myself, to my children, to my students. Grow tall. Inhale. Exhale, bring everything down. Sweep those arms up overhead as you inhale. Reach on up. Exhale, bring those hands down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And now we're gonna sit down onto our bottoms and bring our shoulders down to the mat, laying flat back, keeping your feet planted, knees bent. Now, some yoga teachers like to cue that you should be able to touch your heels like this. I think that a lot of people can have a lot of tightness in their quads, in their knees, so that might not feel good in your body. And how close together your feet are is going to depend on how much space you need to create for your belly, what feels good in your hips, what's comfortable for you. So you find a foot placement that is comfortable for you, where you won't be stretching into your knee too much, you won't be hurting your abdominal wall, you won't be hurting your quads or your lower spine. Wherever you are, bring those shoulder blades together as you open through that chest. Find some lift in your chest towards the ceiling. Shoulders planted on the mat, hips planted. So like all four corners of your foot when we balance in tree, kind of all four corners of your body. Keep those feet planted, press down into all four corners of your foot. And on your next inhale, we are going to slowly lift those hips up to the sky. And maybe you bring those hands up overhead into a bridge. And as we exhale, if you brought those arms up, bring the arms down as well as we lower our spine to the mat. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, bring everything down. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, bring everything down. On this last lift, you can keep your arms planted if you want, but we will inhale, lift, and we will keep our hips lifted to the ceiling for a couple breaths here in bridge pose. Maybe You bring those shoulder blades back together once again. Maybe you clasp your hands underneath your spine. If that does not feel good, you can just keep your hands down. If you wanted to keep your arms up, you're welcome to. If you want to cactus those arms, wherever feels good for you. Wherever you are, we'll breathe in one more time. Exhale, lower, down to the mat. You can keep those knees pointed up to the sky, because on your next inhale, what we're going to do is recreate that staff pose we opened our practice with, and we are going to lift our heels to the ceiling, to the sky, in a variation of legs up the wall. If you happen to have a wall nearby, which I do right here myself, bring those hips towards the wall. And like legs up the wall implies, just put those legs up the wall. It's a nice, relaxing way to create some lymphatic drainage, down-regulate your nervous system. But if you don't have a wall accessible, but you have a pillow, sometimes it's nice to place a pillow under your hips as you do this, or a block. Or again, just bring those feet towards the sky like you're standing on the ceiling. Recreating that staff pose. Finding some relaxation. And now you're welcome to end the practice like this, or you can bring those feet down to the mat, stretching the legs out, opening your palms up to the sky in a Shavasana. I'm going to sit up while I guide you through a bit of reflection in Shavasana before we close out our practice. We just decluttered our bodies. Now we can allow ourselves to release physically. Take a moment to reflect on what we need to release mentally, emotionally. Is there a thought that we keep stuck in? Is there a pattern of thoughts or emotions that we are stuck in? This hamster wheel sometimes we can get ourselves in. Are we feeling trapped by something we're thinking about ourselves, about our families, about the people in our lives, about the situations in our lives? Is there something we're holding on to that is holding us back? As you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you are Virgo, gathering up the harvest. And instead of harvest, it is those thoughts and emotions that you're holding on to. You're gathering them all up into your arms. And as you breathe out, sort of like blowing onto a dandelion, release all of those thoughts, feelings, emotions into the universe. Let it go. Release that weight. Clear it from your life. Clear it from your mind. Clear it from your heart. Simplify your heart space. If it feels safe for you, maybe bring your hands to your heart. Feel the beating of that in your chest, reminding you you are worthy, you are loved, you are love. We're bringing in this focus inward through this part of the zodiac season. So now in this exercise, we're creating space for us to really inhabit that inwardness. And when we can inhabit ourselves inwardly like that, we become more reflections of who we truly are. We become more authentically ourselves. We can speak more for ourselves. That Vishuddha throat chakra, led by Mercury, allows you to reflect that to the universe. It doesn't need to be a loud communication, but it is a communication that is a spiritual reflection of who you truly are. Removing all of those impurities from your body, from your mind. Decluttering creates this space. So I hope you feel that down regulation, that stress relieving, anxiety reducing, calm, that connectedness to yourself. On your next inhale, maybe you bring your hand to the mat in front of you and slowly sit up. If your eyes were closed, maybe you slowly flutter them open. Bring your hands to heart center if you wish. And from my heart to yours, truly, namaste, and thank you for practicing with me as we moved through a lovely Virgo practice. Next Friday, I will be uploading a special video, because even though next Friday is going to be in preparation for the full moon, on the full moon, September 7th, in Virgo, we're actually going to have a very special thing happening. We're going to have a total lunar eclipse. So I will be doing a practice that will help us harness the energy of eclipse season rather than allowing chaos to enter our lives. We'll be able to embrace eclipse season and use it to our advantage and our benefit as we tread through that full moon. So next Friday, join me in a wonderful total eclipse practice. And again, namaste, and thank you for joining me in this practice.